All right. So let's improve. All right. So we are looking at this. So the question 12. So we have to read this JSON file, and then we also have to identify the gamer tag, the age, and the percentage of game. So how are we gonna do that? So yes, the key answers show you how to do it, but problem with that is that if you look at this, that this is not how you code as well, because you won't be able to do everything at once. So that's how I code. So what we can do here is that we can start with something simple. So we can say load player array equals load player. Yep. So that's the first step that we're going to do, because we are going to iterate through this one, and then iterating. So now we are iterating. So we'll iterate. So for player in player array, so we can do that one as well. So basically we can go through all the player array. So this autocomplete, or what we can do is we can do this one. So we can do for each player. It's a pseudocode, so it's sort of quite simple, right? So what we can do in here is that we can display the game with that. So what do they use for display? So they use this to display. Okay. So we can do that one. Or what they're doing here is they're doing an array. So because it's an array, so let's just do for player index equals 0 to what do they do? Okay, so you do player array dot, okay, and then we just do indentation. We do have for next, okay, so we can do next player index. So we do a loop. So this is something that you probably want to write down in the scribble note before we get to it. And then what we're going to do in here, we can cheat, because I don't really like doing a lot of indexing. So we can do player equals player array player. So what this will do is that we are getting a player, and by doing that, going forward, we don't have to do uh, this scope here, which is annoying. Okay? So here we can say, okay, so now the question here is that we need to display the tag. So we can do display. It's gonna do that. Display player dot. What's the JSON file? Game tag. Sorry. Player dot game tag. That is one done, right? And then what we can do is that we can do age. Okay, we can do age. Age is a little bit tricky, but we can do the percentage of gamesWon, which is very simple. So we can go gamesWon, gamesWon percentage equals player dot gamesWon divided by player dot gamesPlayed. That one there. And then what we did in here is that don't forget to multiply by 100. Because if you don't multiply by 100, then this will result. Like if you get 4 divided by 10, you will end up with 0.4, whilst what we want to display is actually 40%. So that's why you multiply it by 1. Once you've done that one, then you can do display gamesWon percentage. So that's what we can do. So if we sort out the gamerTag and the percentage of games. Now the age is a bit tricky, right? Because you want to know how detailed it is, right? So now, in order to know the age, we need to know what is the current date, right? So what we can do in here, we can do current date. So we can do get current date, get current month, get current year. So that is what you can, and that's why we need to do it there. You can do it there. It's efficient to do it on the top because we only need the data. We only need to inquire the data once. You can do it inside the for loop, but it's just wasting resources, right? So what we can do here, we can do the birthday here at the bottom. So what we can do here, let's just put a comment calculate birthday. Okay. So first of all, with what's it's very simple. Age equals current year minus player birthday. That is very simple. Because what we know is that let's assume that they already have their birthday, right? So you minus the year and you get the date, the age. But what if they haven't celebrated their birthday? So what we can do in here is that we can check whether the player dot birth month like this. So we can check if the player dot birth month is less than current month, right? Then so what we're doing here is that we're just gonna do we're just gonna do else in here. And if I normally like to do this so that I don't forget. So in here we know that if the players like if the birthday is September and it's July, they haven't celebrated their birthday. So what we have to do is that we have to do age minus 1. So that's the first condition. Now, what if the player age? What if the month is the same? So we have to do another one, which is if the the birth month is the same, then what we need to do is we need to check the date. So this one here, the autocomplete is already working. So in here, we need to check the date to see if the date is actually less than the current date, not bigger than, because it's still less than the. No, sorry, my bad. It's actually bigger than because it's so we have to use bigger than because the month needs to be after the current date, so that's why we have to bigger than. So if the birthday is actually bigger than the current date, then we also have to minus the age by 1. So how we calculate the birthday is that we assume they have the birthday, and then if they haven't celebrated the birthday by calculating the month and the day, we just have to subtract the age by 1. So once you've done that one, you will actually get the proper age. And then in here, you can do display your age as well. So that is how we can process this JSON file to do the pseudocode. So it is similar to this, but it's up to you. So I'm explaining the thinking process, how we end up with the code. Hopefully that helps.